Let's move on to the next part that you teased, the story of the century, some are calling it. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Jamaal Bowman has now officially been charged with 1 count of false fire alarm in violation of the DC Criminal Code. This is according to documents which have now been filed in the District of Columbia. The Attorney General for the District of Columbia has now summoned Jamaal Bowman, sometime actually around right now when we're filming the show, to court in order to answer for his crimes, to be arraigned. Is being charged with a misdemeanor count. They say you are hereby commanded to appear before the criminal division. All of this, again, is a violation of the DC code for falsely pulling a fire alarm. The Capitol Police say that their investigation has been done for a while. Quote, our agents gathered all the evidence, packaged it up, and sent the entire case with charges to prosecutors for their consideration. Obviously, the prosecutors have decided to go after him. We should put this up there on the screen as well. Let's just not forget all of this. His original explanation is that he pulled the fire alarm because it would help him open the door. Now, allegedly, according to some reports from the Capitol Police and their investigation on video, they don't actually show him trying to open the door. So obviously, I always thought he was completely full of it and he was lying. But the video evidence that we will likely hopefully hear at trial, if he does contest it and stick to his original story, will vindicate that he was not telling the truth. It is still a very bizarre situation. I still don't know, because the context for why he would have pulled a fire alarm was to
confusing.
delay a vote, or was to stop a vote, I apologize, about the speakership.
Right.
But he did end up voting in that. So, I mean, maybe like the jujitsu explanation in your mind is he pulled the fire alarm because he was late for the vote so that he could get to the vote. So he wasn't delaying it to stop the vote. He was delaying it so that he could get to the vote, although it didn't even work, and he still didn't end up voting. So no explanation does make a whole lot of sense, but just to be clear about this, the false pulling a fire alarm, the code says that you willfully had to pull the fire alarm. So they believe, they have to prove, and they believe that they have evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond reasonable doubt, that he did intentionally pull said fire alarm, not did it in an accidental manner. That's it. That's as far as I understand it from the DC Criminal Code.
This feels like it happened 85 years ago.
Right.
And I have to say, I barely cared about it at the time, and I 100% don't care about it anymore. And if Jamaal Bowman keeps taking courageous votes like what he just did, as far as I'm concerned, he can pull the fire alarm every damn day for the rest of his life. I really don't care.
Well, he's a guy who believes so much in the law. He's always talking about, oh, we got to abide by the law. We got to throw all these January 6 people, all the people in jail. Like, come on, you can't be pulling fire alarms in order to delay votes. You can say you appreciate the guy's vote, but you shouldn't be advocating for the guy to be pulling fire alarms.
I don't care.
I mean, no.
That's my official position. There's like war and carnage going on, and I cannot possibly care about this story less. And like I said, for me, this week, I am 100% Team Jamaal Bowman. I think he is one of the most courageous members in terms of this vote that he just took. He has a sizable Jewish population in his district. For him to vote no on this, he could actually face a political price. He is likely to face a primary contender that is backed by this Democratic Majority for Israel group. So I'm pro Jamaal.
I'll tell you what, if you care about Jamaal, you should be telling him not to be lying and pulling fire alarms, because I can guarantee you, this became a meme.
I still believe him.
This became a meme national-wide. Well, I mean, look, let's see the evidence. Let's see what he pleads at trial. I want to see, are you going to plead not guilty and stick to your little accidental story? Or are you going to admit that you lied and you pulled the fire alarm?
To pull a fire alarm in a different building to try to delay a vote that's happening in the like, that doesn't make any sense.
I agree, it never made any sense. But I still think he did it. He panicked, it was in his mind, and then he lied about it. So yeah, like I mean, do we want people who are liars who are in Congress? I think he's a straight up liar.
Where it counted this week, he did the right thing, and so I give him way more credit for that than this fire alarm situation.
I mean, I agree with you on a practical basis. That is mostly how we should analyze lawmakers. This is why people are like, did you see that somebody you support voted for this thing? I'm like, yeah, I don't care, because I care about, even on this one, on Mike Johnson. You know why I don't care what he said about gay people 20 years ago? I don't want more aid to pass for Ukraine. This guy's voted against everything for Ukraine. So for me, I'm like, yeah, I don't care how Kevin McCarthy thought about gays in 1990. I care how he was going to bring a Ukraine vote to the
but when
floor.
you're House Speaker, like that has import and can impact the sort of legislation that he brings.
We'll care about that at the time. If he brings a national gay thing, to the floor, which I don't think is going to happen, then sure, I'll also be like, hey, I don't do that. But on Ukraine, which is like a present, clear thing, I'm like, look, this is the greatest thing that could have happened, at least for our side, on this in a long time. So,
well,
look,
we'll see
on
what
that,
he does on that
I
too.
will
I'm not
agree
at all
with you
convinced that he's going to hold the line on that.
I'm not convinced either, but look, $6 billion is not $40 billion, which is not $100 billion. So it's like one of those.
Yeah, but look at
where
how pro-Israel he is.
gradations.
He's just they're just going to tie him together.
Well, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, there's a
I think that's high likelihood.
there's a bill right now in the Senate with multiple co-sponsors from Republicans to strip the aid apart. Mount Gaetz said yesterday that he would not, that there's not majority support for dual Israel-Ukraine aid. So, and like I said, even if they get $2 billion or $6 billion or even $10 billion versus $100 billion, I mean, that's a massive substantive difference than what would have likely happened. So, look, I guess I'm talking myself into your own direction, which is I agree. You know, none of these people are angels and all of that. I still think it's amusing. And Mr. Bowman, I have always believed was a liar, and now it appears to be vindicated.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.